Hello my friends, this is probably quite unexpected for a lot of you, but welcome to Kerbal Space Program of all things. Or what I'm going to call MCrooks Space Program. So, Mr. Crook is one of my biggest Patreon supporters, and he said that he was trying to get into Kerbal Space Program, but there's no tutorial. There is no tutorial, apparently, and I never played Kerbal Space Program. I meant to. I meant to play it a long time ago, and I never did. There were just so many games to play, and I ended up forgetting about this one. So I thought, why not just have a go and see what it's like? So I've never played it before. We'll see if there is any tutorial. There are training scenarios. Training and training scenarios. Start new training and scenarios. So I guess we can have a look at training. Alright, it's not oh no, they are actually missions. So you can actually go through tutorials. So there are tutorials. You can actually learn the skills. Well, let's have a look at what the first tutorial is like. It might be mind-numbingly easy. Okay. Jesus, it's very wordy, isn't it? It is really wordy. Jesus, we have seen a book's worth of text in the first tutorial already. I mean, I read quickly, but come on. Okay, so I guess we'll go to the vehicle assembly thing. There we go. Maybe it's not that the tutorials aren't there, it's that they're perhaps needlessly wordy. Okay, so we're in the vehicle lab. Excellent. Okay, so you need a command pod before you can actually do anything. And it just kind of places itself, so that's fine. Just right click, same as millions of games, holding down the right mouse button to look around. I notice here that it's automatically placed this pod, like, in the middle of space here. Okay, next. If you want your pilot to take more than one flight. Why would we want that? Why would we want that? Can we not just launch them into space and never see them again? I think the point of Kerbals are that they're meant to be quite disposable people. Seems a bit harsh, but anyway. Okay, engines, structural, payload, aerodynamics, ground. What is it under? You've not actually told me which category this item is. Okay, it's a utility. But it doesn't... oh wait, it does actually say here. Never mind. Alright, it's Snap 2. If you have to have this, why not just make it part of the command pod? I don't understand. I suppose you can choose different ones, but then you could just choose different pod. Anyway, I'm not going to question it. Let's continue. Let us continue with this. Okay, it has configurable options. Okay. So you need to put the minimum pressure to 0.2 because of the because that's about 9 kilometers above Kerbal, whose atmospheric pressure. So I'm not like a rocket scientist, but I am an engineer and I have done some construction projects. Atmospheric pressure increases as you head down, and it's kind of obvious, or it should be obvious, because you know, as you climb a mountain, the atmosphere becomes thinner. So conversely, if you go down the mountain, the atmosphere becomes denser. So basically, you're waiting until a certain atmospheric density to deploy your parachute here, so it makes sense you don't want to deploy it too early. Although, I've never really understood what real difference that makes for a vehicle like this. I mean, does it matter if you start floating from 16k instead of 9 or 5? I mean, obviously you want to deploy your parachute before you hit the ground, but anyway, let us continue. Okay, we need an engine. Well, that's obvious. Should be obvious. Fuel booster, okay. Well, this will probably be why that they stuck the command pod like in the air like this, to make room for one of these boosters. Okay, so apparently this booster is too powerful, and the pod will melt because there's too much power driving it into the atmosphere, so it will melt due to friction. Which is a problem you could probably solve with the correct materials, but anyway. I promise to tell you how to fix this problem in a later tutorial, but for now let's continue. Okay, that's harsh. I presume that you right-click on it like you did with the parachute and change this thrust limiter, or reduce the amount of fuel in it, right? I guess that would be the answer. Don't promise to tell me how to fix this problem later. I want to fix this problem now. I'm going to change it. I don't know if they'll Oh, he wants me to delete it anyway. Okay, fine. Let's delete it. Okay, it's gone. You taught me how to fit a module that actually is no good. Brilliant. Alright, whatever. Okay, so we've got a small one instead. Oh, there we go. Oh, look, you can see here that this one has only got 140 units of fuel. So, it's considerably less than the large one. I would presume that you could use the large one and just simply reduce the fuel to 140. But obviously there'd probably be a cost concern there. That's gamer brain thinking. Anyway, let us continue. The simplest survivable craft possible. We could go launch it right now. But it might be safer to explain one other thing first. Okay. Okay, so the staging stack shows that the parachute will go off at some point, and I guess the engine will go off at some point. Alright, okay, so what he's saying is that the parachute and the engine will go off at the same time, because they're both in the stack. But you obviously don't want the parachute to go off, so when you launch, that would be ridiculous. So, okay, so to fix this issue, we're going to need to separate the engine and the chute into 2 stages. Okay, so we have a stage 0 and then we have a stage 1. And then I guess we move the engine. Sorry, we have the engine in stage 1 and the parachute. The engine in stage 0 And I don't know why there's a stage 0. It should start at 1, but let's continue. You want the engine in stage 0 and you want the parachute in stage 2. Or stage 1. 0, 1 is so dumb. This is like programmers doing this. Okay. Our first stage will be 1, the engine, and our second one will be stage 0, the chute. So it actually goes the other way around. Stage 1 is the engine. Ugh. Stage 1 is the engine, and stage 0 is the chute. Why is this in reverse order? Why does stage 1 go first and then 0? So then it goes 2, 1, 0? Okay, that hurts my brain. Let's continue. That's it, we have a safe, well, relatively safe craft. So you can now give it a name. Pod. Learn to spell Edmund. Tutorial is needlessly convoluted. I can't bloody spell that today. We'll have a different word for convoluted. And it's needlessly detailed and wordy. There we go. Be less British and actually use simple words and not say that it's convoluted and draconian. But anyway, click save on the upper right when you're happy. Okay, there we go. Now I'm happy. Excellent work. Feel free to play around. And that's it. And then I presume that you take this out to the launch pad and launch it into space. So the tutorial, I mean, seems simple enough, but certainly this stage control being in the wrong order hurts my brain a little bit. And I'm not really sure how you're meant to calculate, you know, what thrust and what fuel payload you need to actually be safe. That's not obvious to me at this juncture. I can't launch it because this is a tutorial. I can only leave. Okay, well it seems to me like there is a tutorial, and it seems alright. It just seems a bit overly wordy, instead of just cutting to the point of what you're doing and why. Alright, let's launch this stupid thing. I'm not going to do all the tutorials, by the way. I'm just doing the first couple just to get a feel for the game, and then I'll actually just start a proper campaign. But the proper campaign will come later in the month when the bonus videos start going out. I'm just making this video to just have a taster of Kerbal Space Program, just for fun. Okay. Let's go. Okay, yeah, we understand these things. WASDQE. All right. That's a innovative and revolutionary control system which I have never experienced before. Having flashbacks to Free Space and Freelancer, and I guess Wing Commander as well, except Wing Commander did not have roll. Early versions of Wing Commander did not have roll. I had a Thrustmaster joystick which you could actually twist to roll, which is really very cool. I still have it, and it still works as far as I know. Maybe I'll set it up for this. We'll skip over throttle control for now, as this vessel has no need for it. Don't worry, I'll explain it later when it's of use. Okay. I'm not sure I quite agree with not showing things that will probably be critical later, but okay. Okay. You can edit the stage sequence on the fly, if you wish. Alright, well that's simple enough. Alright, there's science tools. That scares me. That's sending me back flashbacks to math class in my degree. Which, by the way, my mathematics class at my degree eliminated like about 180 students from about a group of 300 that were taking my degree. It was horrendous, and I nearly failed it as well. It was the great slayer of head count. Making games is not all fun and games, pardon the pun. It's also lots of really hard math. Okay, that's fine. This is all really very, very wordy. I don't know if they just don't have the facility to, you know, put icons and point at things, but anyway. Okay, you'll see the indicator for your parachute. This indicator shows when the chute will be activated by staging. You already know that. The background will also change color to indicate when it is safe to stage the parachute. And the foreground will change color depending on the parachute's state. Note, however, that by default parachutes will not deploy when unsafe, even if you stage them. The left three show safety: safe, risky, and unsafe to deploy. Okay. It's asking like if you're familiar with the colors, but it doesn't actually really explain the colors very well here. Armed, deployed, and cut shredded. Usually, red is bad, green is good. Let's move on. Don't forget that our hopper only has a solid rocket motor, so there's no throttle control. That's why we didn't review the throttle here. Alright. You gonna actually tell me when where the launch button is? Hit space when ready to launch. So I guess the space bar sets off the first stage. But it doesn't actually say that anywhere, and there's no button for it. Which, or at least there's no button that I can see. That strikes me as a bit odd. Okay. Okay, so steering it seems easy enough. Not that I'm really getting much done here. And there goes my fuel. Sweet. You can see my house from here. Okay. Okay, how do I change the stage? Okay, you've armed the parachute. Now it's time to wait. So I just press the spacebar again to activate the next stage. My parachute is yellow, which means that probably that the atmosphere is not thick enough to deploy it yet. Or for it to be effective, I should say. Alright. Oof. There would have been some G-force in that. That's probably not the that's probably not the best way to deploy a parachute ever. The whiplash and tensile forces that would have been exhibited by that spin there on both the passenger and the tow line would have probably been very extreme. So I think your human astronaut would be dead around about now. But this guy just looks happy to be alive, so there we go. Boop. When you have landed or splashed on Kerbin and not in training, you can point the mouse just above the altimeter and check the recover button. Which I presume, if you recover it, you will get your money back. But this button does not seem to do anything in this tutorial, as we can see. But I presume you recover this and you get a refund for your parts and so on. Okay. Seems simple enough, doesn't it? Let's get out of here. Can I get out of here? I must admit, some parts of this are a bit unintuitive. Someone did not complete their HCI course. Resume flight, end scenario, there we go. Yes. Alright, whatever. Let's get started. Let's play. I think we've done enough tutorials. MCrooks space program. In career mode, you have to manage all aspects of your space program. Great. I'm just leaving it here on normal difficulty, since I've never played before. I normally always jump into the hardest difficulty on any game I play that's a strategy game, because I've just played so many hundreds of strategy games that I'm pretty confident that I can play at the hardest difficulty from the offset. And, you know, I can think of some games that maybe were a little bit tricky at first, like StarCraft 2 on Brutal was a little bit tricky at times. The last mission of the Wings of Liberty campaign was tricky-ish. But generally speaking, it's not an issue. But with physics, science kind of games, until you have a real understanding of what makes them tick and their quirks, probably not a good idea to crank the difficulty up, because it usually involves tons of metagaming. I mean, Oxygen Not Included definitely requires a lot of metagaming to do well. Alright, so I wonder what this money is. It's like the Kerbin V. Alright, this space center is looking really Spartan right now. Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to have a look. We are reasonably confident it is a safe enough distance from everything else. Okay. It's good to have that kind of confidence. There's also like something all the way over there. I don't know what the mysterious black object is over there, but I am not willing to scroll at 2 miles an hour to find out what it is. Alright. Okay, I've got it. So, how do I load my previously made... Nope. The one that I made in the tutorial is has been erased and is I can't bring it up, so I'd have to rebuild it. Now, of course, before we actually do anything, I believe we actually need some missions, so... Is that actually the button to leave the game? No. I thought for a second there I'd quit the game. I'd be like, that would be a really weird place to have a quit game button. Okay. So there's all kinds of administrative stuff that you can do. Oh my god, exploiting undergrads is one of the things you can do. Oh, stay classy, America. Alright, well I don't really know yet what of these items would actually be that useful to me, so let's not worry about that. You can change your flagpole. I guess that's kind of fun. Alright, mission control, contracts. Let's find something to do in the space program. Recover or transmit any science experiment data from Kerbal to achieve this goal. Okay. Launch our first vessel, that seems easy enough. Alright, literally launching a vessel off of the pad will reward us here. That seems easy enough. The administration says we legally cannot call ourselves a space program without actually going to space. I don't know about that. I think a lot of space programs have called themselves that for quite some time before they went to space. I don't think the Chibi rocket will achieve 70,000, but okay. Alright, so we have two things to do. One is to produce any science, and the other one is to launch our first vessel, so both of these should be easy enough. Basic rocketry. Well, I have no idea what any of these parts do. However, having some engine parts probably seems like a good idea. Okay, so you don't research science over time, you actually need to... Well, you probably do research it over... But what I mean to say is you actually have to have the money, the science money, if you will, to buy research, and then I presume that you can just get it instantly. So we'd have to generate 5 science somehow. Okay, well, considering that we have a mission to generate science, let's see if we can generate some. Jesus, that's really expensive. Okay, I don't really see any easy way to generate science yet, so let's just get on with the thing that we know how to do, which is to launch the rocket. Let's make one and let's stick it in the air. Let's change the atmospheric pressure to 0.2. Not sure what this altitude meter does. It would be nice if there was a tooltip that actually explained each one of these items as you hovered over it. But there doesn't appear to be, so... bad times for all concerned. Okay, I just want to see what other items I have. Alright, so this adds stability to the rocket. It's not very expensive either. Maybe we can enhance this by adding some stabilization to it. Seems relatively obvious to just go for a 4-blade design. Mystery goo containment unit, okay. Okay, I guess it generates science or something? Right mouse button for more info. Collectible data. So you could basically add this to your rocket to generate some science or whatever. To obtain observable data. I suppose if we're going to do this, what we should do is we should put one on one side and one on the other. It's not too heavy, I believe. 0.5 ton. 0.05 ton. Just so that we have a stable weight on the rocket. Alright, and there is literally nothing else that we can do. Go to the moon. Ha ha. See what I did there? Really basic rocket. Okay. Cool. Saved. Let's go to the launch pad. I need to change the staging as well for the parachute. Let's add a stage. Stage 1 will be the engine. Stage 2 will be the parachute. Let's go. Can't think of anything else I should be doing right now, so let's go. I'm going to try and not steer it so we can get as high as possible. Seems to be going up in a relatively straight line. I think the goal for one of the missions was to get 70,000 meters of height. So if this is 140 units of fuel and it gets to about 120, in fact that lines up very nicely. So 120 units of fuel is actually 120 meters of flight, pretty much. So we need a rocket with 700 units of fuel, I presume, to achieve that kind of height. Okay, first stage is complete. Parachute is armed. This game doesn't actually seem like super complicated. I noticed that the rocket is slightly unstable here, but I presume that the fins are actually keeping it pretty level. Our mystery goo payload, which we brought along. Okay, parachutes deployed. Doesn't seem to be any problems. Now waiting for there to be enough atmosphere to make it actually work. The little Kerbal guy is looking around. Hopefully not kill my first Kerbal. Alright, parachutes. Slowing us down. That was a bit tight. That was a bit close for comfort on the parachute deployment. I've got to be honest, and I'm still a bit worried about these shear forces, but it seems to be part of the game, so no problem. There we go. It wasn't a perfect landing, but no one died. And we're done. There's nothing left to do. Recover the vessel. Alright, we generated 5 science. And we also generated 5 data. 14 science earned total. That's pretty good. We didn't take any real damage here, so we got a good healthy refund on everything. 1 experience gained, ready for next assignment. And nobody died. So I presume now that we can complete the other objective here by buying basic rocketry. Yeah, so research is instant if you have the money for it. That's pretty... I'm not sure if that's cool or not, but I guess it just lets you get stuck in, so... Wow, general rocketry is very expensive. So I guess we'll buy this engineering thing as well. Too hot thermometer. Okay, communication device. Okay, cool. We bought some stuff, some technologies, so we can continue with our space program. And I presume now that those contracts that we did have automatically completed themselves, and that's why we have a big sum of money. Oh, Jesus, look at all the contracts. I feel like I've just arrived on my next planet. Which one lets me put the boot into the Draconis Combine? Okay, well this seems like a perfect way to end. I hope you guys enjoy Kerbal Space Program. It is definitely interesting. I am a bit of a snob when it comes to tutorials and HCI, but it's because I've studied it. But the tutorial's not too bad. It's just a bit excessively wordy. In my opinion, it could be a little bit more direct, but I do like that it's quite themed. But I guess now we just find, you know, a load of contracts that we can do at the same time, maybe. So, probably find a load of things that you can do with one rocket. Like, you know, there'll be some mission, say, to do a flight to 20,000 meters, and maybe to take a pilot into space or whatever, and to take a certain cargo up a certain height or whatever. A lot of how you make money in these kind of games is finding a lot of things that you can do with one rocket or one. I'm trying to think of some other games that are like this. You know, like Elite. You probably have like three or four different contracts, and they're all to deliver something to one particular place. I like classic technique in trading games is to take a contract to deliver something somewhere, and then go somewhere else and take another contract to deliver something to the same place as the first job, and repeat that process on the way to the place where the first contract was, so that when you finally get there, you're actually delivering like 4 or 5 jobs at the same time. And I presume that strategy will work here too, but I don't think any of you guys want to sit here and watch me read these for 10 minutes. So I'll try and work it out. This should be done, should it not? Recover or transmit any science experiment data from Kerbal to achieve this goal. I wonder how I transmit this data. Recover or transmit. We definitely created some data in the last flight. It's not sort of really explained very well how I transmit the data I've collected. Well, whatever. I'm going to sit down and work out the details a little bit, and then we'll accept a load of contracts and see if we can do something else. But I mean, so far so good, and we made some money and we unlocked some research, so yeah. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. This will just be a mini campaign. It's not going to be a huge long series, but it's just something I wanted to do for one of my best supporters, and this game looked like fun, so I thought I'd sit down and play it a bit. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time.